I spent over $1,000 on expensive audio gear, and it was a mistake, because it turns out the sweet spot gear that everyone recommends is where you actually lose the most value. And this $40 gaming headset made it pretty obvious. A few years ago, I fell down the audiophile rabbit hole, a world that promises to elevate casual listening into something more refined. I started learning the language. Over ears versus in ears, open back versus closed back, soundstage, DACs, amplifiers, cables. It makes you feel like you're not just listening to music anymore, you're analyzing it. And at the very top of that world are headphones so extreme that people literally cry when they hear them for the first time. The problem is, those headphones cost $60,000. So I, like a lot of people, bought what everyone calls the sweet spot. Gear that lets you in the door of the audiophile experience without putting you in generational debt. And honestly, it worked. The sound stage, the instrument separation, the audible clarity, it was all there and there was no going back. Which is why I thought this next part was going to be a problem. Because around that time, Nubwo reached out and sent over this HG04 headset, and yes, they're sponsoring this video. And my first reaction was, there is no way that I'm going to like this. I'm not a casual listener anymore. I've trained myself to notice differences that most people just don't need to care about. How is this $40 headset supposed to impress me? But what I didn't expect is what it would reveal. Not because it sounded so good that it moved me to literal tears, but because of just how skewed my expectations had become. First of all, this is a gaming headset. And gaming headsets have to do two things really well. Let you hear where things are happening in the game.
Here's someone on me. Here's someone on me.
And make sure your teammates can hear you clearly.
Where are you guys, bro?
They're not built to deliver perfect instrument separation. They're trying to isolate just the most important information. So this headset isn't really competing with my setup at all. It's competing with TV speakers, cheap earbuds, and maybe even some expensive headsets above its price range. Small, but actually big feature, this thing is a wireless headset. My headphones are wired, which is supposed to give you better audio clarity, but I can't overstate how convenient it was not to deal with any cables anymore. No snagged wires, no rolling your chair over the cable, no leaning to grab your drink while someone's talking to you on Discord. With this headset, I can just move around freely. It connects wirelessly via a USB dongle, which I actually love since there's no noticeable latency that way. It does have Bluetooth connectivity, but the real value is in what they call dual mode. You can be connected to your PC with the dongle and then also to your phone via Bluetooth. So if a call comes in, you tap a button, take the call, and then switch right back to your game. It's kind of niche, but it is useful. It's made out of plastic, which may sound like a criticism, but it actually isn't. Even expensive headphones use plastic just because it keeps the weight down. What actually did surprise me was the quality of the headband. It's genuinely comfortable, well padded, and the adjustability feels really solid. And I actually think it feels better than the headband on my Sonys, which are 10 times the price. The only thing to know is that, like most over-ear headphones, the ear cups can get warm over time, especially in a hot room. But look, that's just the reality of wearing headphones as opposed to using speakers. So a quick clarification, since this is a headset, it has a microphone, whereas headphones don't have mics. And look, the mic here is fine. Teammates can hear you clearly, so that's really all it needs to do. Like, don't expect podcast quality audio here, but for gaming, it definitely gets the job done. Now, there are 3 EQ modes: game, movie, and music. And look, EQ really comes down to personal preference. For me personally, game mode felt a bit thin. It cuts out some bass to make footsteps easier to hear, but I missed those low frequencies for immersion. I actually preferred to play games on movie or music mode, which added that fullness back. What's great about these headphones is that you get that choice without requiring any sort of technical knowledge. Now look, these things aren't perfect, okay? The thing that I immediately noticed coming from a $1,000 audio setup was the soundstage. On my open back headphones, sounds feel like they're actually around me in the room, whereas this headset soundstage is more narrow, so everything sounds more like it's coming from inside my head. But in fairness, there actually is a good reason for this. Open back headphones, while they sound great, leak sound, so everyone around you can hear what you're listening to. And for gamers, especially late at night or in shared spaces, that's just not ideal. By making the headset closed back, Nubwo keeps the audio contained, which is honestly the right call. So yeah, it does limit the soundstage, but it makes the headset way more practical. And either way, directional audio was still clear enough for me that it never actually hurt my gameplay. Look, this headset is perfect for anyone coming from TV speakers or cheap earbuds or an older headset. The sound quality just will be a massive upgrade. And while there is a difference between this headset and my setup, it's nowhere near 20x like the price is. And that's when I started to realize something. I had bought all of this audiophile gear because I got sold on the hype, but the reality is when I listen to music, it's mostly in my car or with AirPods or even just through my iPad speakers sometimes. I really have to be in the mood to sit down and use my headphones for their intended purpose because it takes so much conscious effort for me to sit and actually appreciate all that fine detail that they offer. It's a unique person that enjoys analyzing their music more so than just casually listening to it. What I really use this headset for is editing and gaming, and honestly it does both of those things pretty much as well as my expensive headphones. And that's the real takeaway for me. Not that expensive gear is bad, but it's so often marketed as transformative, when in reality, in a lot of ways, it's incremental. Budget-focused companies like Nubwo prioritize practicality over marketing hype, which is something that I've come to appreciate more and more. This headset doesn't pretend to be what it's not. It's practical, it's affordable, and it does exactly what it says it will. If you're interested, the link is in the description, and thanks again to Nubwo for sponsoring this video.